preparing for the big Congress in February. Oh, the microphone. Okay, let's redo that. Welcome back. Welcome back. Okay, so it's one of our bloopers. Welcome back to our Tuesday night evening lesson. What we're going to do today is prepare once again, carry on with the lessons and prepare for the February big Congress. Now, as you know, previous two lessons we did the workshops, how to incorporate ourselves to the workshop with 6 internal rules and 6 external rules. So now we're going to start preparing ourselves further by taking a look at 2 articles which are in the writings of Rabash. So it's this one, the social writings of Rabash. You can also find these on the website. What we're going to do is touch on 2 articles, which are the first 2 articles really, which are called the Purpose of Society number 1 and the Purpose of Society number 2. Okay, we're not going to read the whole of number 1, just want to take out a few points there. But before we start the articles, let's just do a bit of a recap and introduction. Now, all of us, there are going to be pretty much a few thousand of us coming from all around the world. So it's very important for all these people who are studying the wisdom of Kabbalah to connect and to really realize what we're studying. And what we want to do is to elevate the connection between us so high, to such a height, that even though a person may not be in spirituality, he or she can be able to feel what's called the surrounding light. All right? So this surrounding light, the phenomena of the surrounding light, is a state of literally being free from our egoism. It really helps us to give us a bit of a sensation of being above our nature. But the only way we can actually feel that is if we integrate together correctly. Because the surrounding light, the light that really pushes all of us together, the light of life, we can say, that energy, the force that's in everything, can only be sensed and felt if we integrate closely, tightly, and in a correct way together. So for us to do that, we need to prepare ourselves a little bit so we can actually understand how we're going to go in there, how we're going to connect with each other when we come to the Congress. Now, a lot of people from around the world study virtually because they don't have a group close by, or there is nobody else studying there, and they're in remote places basically. And some of us even have problems trying to watch the lessons live due to internet issues, connectivity, and so on. So a lot of people actually watch the lesson afterwards. Actually, a lot of places download the lesson from the archives and watch it offline during the week simply because there's no internet there. So what we want to do in these next few weeks before the Congress is to prepare ourselves so well that when we come together, all we have to do is just do a small action that we prepared for, and we'll be able to click with each other. All right? And this could be very well accomplished during these preparation weeks ahead. So, first things first, as you know, we studied the Purpose of Society before with Rabash. It's good to remind ourselves, first of all, why we're gathering together. Sometimes when we go to a meeting, a congress, a place where there's going to be a lot of energy and we're all going to be a bit ecstatic and elevated, what tends to happen is we begin to forget why we're there, because feelings overwhelm people. And when a lot of good feelings and good sensations awaken in us, all of a sudden rise to the surface, a lot of people are overwhelmed with emotions, which is not a bad thing at all. However, though, emotions must always be met with some kind of an understanding so that it doesn't turn into some kind of a mindless joy or a mindless mindless elevation, let's say. Okay, so whatever we do needs to be accompanied by the mind that understands what we're going through. So this is why we're studying these articles in order to integrate ourselves into a flow where we can actually understand everything that we're going to go through. And we want to go through them with understanding, actually, so that on top of the sensation and feeling, we can understand a better understanding. And then what we can do, if we have that understanding where the sensation is, it'll give us the opportunity to push the sensation higher, and then we'll feel something new, and then we'll bring an understanding to that new sensation. So the only way to actually do that, constantly pushing for a higher feeling and then pushing for an understanding to go with it, is if we study the things that we need to do before we get there. And that's called preparation. So let's see what Rabash says. Now we're going to read a little bit from the Purpose of Society. If you have questions, you can always send them through, and the guys will let me know here. Okay. So the Purpose of Society number 1. Once again, we're not going to read the whole of this article. We're going to read the beginning of it, and then we're going to move on to the Purpose of Society number 2. So the first paragraph: we have gathered here to establish a society for all who wish to follow the path and method of Baal HaSulam, the way by which to climb the degrees of man and not remain as a beast. As our sages said about the verse, "And you, my sheep, the sheep of my pasture, are men." And Rashbi said, "You are called men, and idol worshippers are not called men." To understand man's merit, we shall now bring a verse from our sages. The end of the matter, all having been heard, fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole of man. All right, so the first things first paragraph. This is all we're going to read from this, by the way, from this article. Now, we all have to understand when we're preparing for this Congress is that we're all going to be studying the same methodology. Now, there are a lot of new people who are coming. Obviously, people who've been with us for several years, they won't have this problem. But a lot of people are going to be new. So we have people from just still in the education center to graduated from this education center to even people just arrived right now, just before the Congress. As we saw in last month when we had a nice virtual Congress, we saw that there were a lot of people, and there are a lot of new people as well. So we all have to understand that when we come together and we have a little gathering, even if you're coming here or even if you're going to a local group, we have to understand that the whole group is studying one method, Baal HaSulam's method. And we're building ourselves on top of that method. Now, when we say Baal HaSulam's method, this method is actually from thousands of years ago. So it's not a new method, but Baal HaSulam's method means that we're learning according to how he's teaching the method. And how he's teaching it dates back all the way to thousands of years to Abraham. So as you know, the wisdom of Kabbalah comes from Adam, and during the time of Abraham, that it was the first time it was actually taught to masses. So a lot of people began to study under Abraham, even though the wisdom of Kabbalah comes from Adam. So the whole teaching, the whole lineage is actually from there. And what we have to keep in mind, though, is regardless of the thousands of years of history we have, there are a lot of things out there in the name of Kabbalah, or spirituality, or methods of all kinds of things, thousands of them in fact. We have all come together to study only from these sources. So we're only using Baal HaSulam and Rabash, and we're only applying the things we've learnt from those two Kabbalists. Obviously Baal HaSulam is our foundation of spiritual knowledge. He's the depth of the knowledge for all of us. And Rabash is the bridge. He's the bridge between us and Baal HaSulam, because Baal HaSulam's articles are really quite deep, especially his books. his commentary on the book of Zohar, plus his commentary on Etz Chaim, the Tree of Life by the Ari. These are all really deep articles, and they're really, when being studied, they really help a person who's really actually advanced in spirituality. Other than that, Baal HaSulam only has several articles which really talk about how a group of people should be studying together to actually attain spirituality according to the wisdom of Kabbalah. So when I say spirituality, I'm only talking in terms of the wisdom of Kabbalah, which means to feel, perceive, understand, and reach equivalence of form like the Creator while living in this world. Okay, so for us, spirituality means to be like the Creator in bestowal and in mutual love. And Rabash, being that bridge between us and Baal HaSulam, obviously through his writings, we try to get an idea of what we have to do when we come together, because otherwise we've got no clue about how to behave, what to do, how to do anything. So Rabash's article, The Purpose of Society, lines out this first thing for us. First of all, we all understand we're studying from Baal HaSulam. Second of all, we need to understand in the purpose of society that her whole idea is to elevate ourselves to the level of godliness. Spirituality means that we turn into a new form, which is called a form of bestowal, which is the equivalence of form with the Creator. So if we all understand from day one, this is what we want to get to, and how we're going to get to is by using the writings of Baal HaSulam and Rabash, we're already taking the first step. So what's really important when preparing ourselves to the Congress is never to bring anything out from outside other than what we're doing. So anyone who's coming to the Congress must be fully swamped in what we are doing and nothing else from the outside. So once the group comes together, once we're all in the flow of study, connecting and uniting together in order to elevate spirituality among us, then there's nothing else that should be coming to bother us from the outside. We should be like in this little bubble. And the duration of the Congress should be exactly in this bubble, which should be getting tighter and tighter and tighter in terms of sensations and feelings that begin to give us nuances of what spirituality is. All right, so that's all we're going to take from the purpose of society. And the next article is the purpose of society number 2. And we're going to read that together. And then we'll do some explanations about it. And in the meantime, if you've got any questions, you can always let us know. Okay, the purpose of society number 2. Since man is created with a kli called self-love, where one does not see that an act will yield self-benefit, one has no motivation to make even the slightest motion. And without annulling self-love, it is impossible to achieve adhesion, dvekut, with the Creator, meaning equivalence of form. So when he says here, since man is created, obviously man, woman doesn't make a difference. A human is created from a desire to receive pleasure for one's self. And that's all we are. So everything we do in life, until we attain spirituality, is for self-gratification and self-benefit. As we study more and more, we'll begin to understand that. And without annulling self-love, it is impossible to achieve dvekut with the Creator, meaning equivalence of form. So if we don't turn ourselves into another nature, if we don't get out of this self-love, we're never going to feel the Creator. Now you can understand why getting together with people is very important. Since the Creator is nowhere to be found, I have nothing to do with the Creator. However, though, if I want to get out of myself, I can do the same work as I would normally do with the Creator if He was around, with friends. with people that are outside of me. So in order to get out of self-love, I can actually start to take care of, to look after, to try to love somebody else. And since that's what we're trying to attain anyway, what difference does it make if I'm working with the Creator or towards a friend? At the end of the day, we want to come to a new attribute. We want to come to a new way of existence. So it doesn't really make a difference if I'm doing an act of kindness or good towards a person or towards the Creator. Now the question here is, what is an act of kindness, or what is good, or what does it mean to get out of self-love, or even how we can do it? Those are all questions for later. Here we need to just get the gist of the idea, the gist of the concept here, that in order for me to get out of my self-love and to feel the Creator, I've got to do this self-nullification. And other than that, there's nothing really else we need to do, apparently. Let's read on. And since it is against our nature, we need a society that will form a great force so we can work together on annulling the will to receive, called evil, as it hinders the achievement of the goal for which man was created. Okay. Now, because we are born of self-love and pleasure, we really don't want to get out of it. Okay, we can't really want to get out of it either, because that's our nature. How can anyone want to get out of their nature? We can only want to get out of our nature if we first of all have an inclination to get out of it. We have a motivation to get out of it. I could only get out of my nature if I saw that it was doing me harm. And could I actually even get out of my nature even if I did see that it was doing me harm? Maybe I'd stop using it the way I'm using it, but to actually get out of my own nature and to have a second nature, can I really do that? So that's the question mark. However though, because we all have a dot in the heart, which is really fundamental, these dots in the heart can all come together to make one big force. And this unity, this force among us, can actually aid a person to start feeling something other than him or herself. This kind of feeling sometimes we feel among people which we love and care for a lot, such as our children or our spouses, our family, and so forth. Sometimes a person can stop feeling him or herself when they feel, great love towards someone or even something. Sometimes we see this with people who care about animals as well. However, though, that's not what we're talking about, because at the end of the day, this care for others, this love of others, should actually bring the person to feel this force in creation called the Creator. So in order for a person to do that, he needs support from the environment. It's not simply just caring about someone. It should bring about a result. So the act of love should actually bring together with it a new sensation and understanding called the Creator. And without other people, I can't do that. How could I possibly do anything actually without other people in the world? If there were no farmers, what would I be eating? If there were no, textile factories to make our shirts and clothes, what would we be wearing? If there were no doctors, how would we be taking care of ourselves? So it's a question, isn't it? Society has all kinds of workers in it. We're like human society is like a bunch of ants. Everybody has a job. Okay, everybody's doing something, and when everybody's doing something, we actually get along. Okay, this is how we survive. Because somebody does the house, somebody does the clothing, somebody's growing the food, somebody's taking care of the sick, somebody's taking care of this and that. Everybody's taking care of something, so we can all actually live. Well, in spirituality, it's the same thing, because this world is a reflection of spirituality. So in a group of people who want to attain spirituality, everybody has a role. So everybody has to chip in. Just like there's the baker, the butcher, the shops for everything, so that we can all feed off them. A person who comes into the group also needs to feed off the group. So the group is like a place where we grow up, where we feed ourselves. So without the society, there's no way anybody's going to advance spiritually. Just like a baby, after it's born, cannot be just left in the corner to grow. It's just not going to happen. It will end up dead. So a person who wants to advance in spirituality needs a society, so he or she can actually suckle from that and grow. And this is why we need a society. And since it's against our nature, we need a society that will form a great force so we can work together on annulling the will to receive, called evil, as it hinders the achievement of the goal for which man was created. So if I was on my own, I would never have the desire, or I'd never really want to do anything to get out of myself. I'd never really want to free myself from my egoism or my evil nature. But if I have friends and support around me, and if everybody's trying to do the same thing, then we have mutual work where everybody can help each other to get out of their self-love. Self-love is a very, very simple formula. I can stop feeling self-love if I feel that everybody else is taking care of me. Otherwise, if I don't feel that, my ego will never let me go. My ego will always hold on to something and say, this is mine. This has got to be me. I've got to take care of myself. Okay? That way you can never leave egoism. This is why society, all the friends, must give each other this feeling that I'm with you 100% and you've got nothing to worry about. If I don't pass on this feeling to others, they can't get out of their ego. It's not possible. This is why everybody depends on each other quite severely. All right. So, for this reason, society must consist of individuals who unanimously agree that they must achieve it. Then all the individuals become one great force that can fight against itself, since everyone is integrated in everyone else. Thus each person is founded on a great desire to achieve the goal. So as you can see, everybody in the group must agree that we're going to do this together. This is why the Congress is very important, and this is why preparing for the Congress is important, because when we all get there, I can't decide there. Okay, I can't decide there. If I come and see, I'll come and see, oh, and now I've decided. No, that's not going to work out. It's not going to happen. A person has to decide before he or she gets there. I have to be in the state of focus, of feeling that I'm ready, there I agree with everyone, and I'm going in. This is how to prepare for it. It's like going to war. You can't just say, oh, let the war begin and we'll see how to prepare for it. That's just not going to work out. You'll lose. Same here. So when a person is coming to the Congress, all of the individuals must from before agree that we have a goal to achieve and we're going to do it. Only if you come with that mentality, you will advance. If you don't come with that understanding, with that push, it'll be very hard for you to integrate yourself in there. Your sensations will be far less from what you could have gotten out of that Congress. Then all the individuals become one great force that can fight against itself. So from day one, moment one, the first moment we start the Congress, if we're already all in there with full agreement, we'll all be able to fight against ourselves instantly, straight away. Since everyone is integrated in everyone else. Thus each person is founded on a great desire to achieve the goal. So from the first moment on, we'll have a big desire, we'll all be integrated, and we'll want to get this thing done. if you leave it to the next day, if you leave it to the afternoon, if you leave it to let's see what happens, let's go and see what happens. If you have that kind of an attitude, you are not going to be advancing much. The Congress will not do as well. It'll do you some good, but it's not going to, it's not really going to give you 100%. And think about it. We're only having this kind of Congress once a year. So imagine what kind of a miss you're going to have. Imagine what you're going to miss out on if you don't use this preparation period properly and prepare yourself and end up there with 100% commitment. Now, also, if you're not coming, okay, so I know there are a lot of people who can't make it as well because they're too far, and obviously not everybody has the economy to finance it. Every person, around the world who can't make it, they'll be connected to us virtually, or they'll be with a group that's close to them, so they'll be getting together physically and they'll be watching all our lessons. They'll all be together still with us, even though not physically, but virtually they'll be integrated to us. And that is also very important, and you also need to prepare for that as well. So physically, if you're coming, you've got to prepare for the Congress physically. And if you're physically going to meet with your friends in your own country, or you're going to join virtually, you still have to be really committed to connecting right now, from now on, and keep pushing that connection and that preparation forward so that when the Congress time comes, it'll be just bang. A small action where we're all integrated, and all of a sudden we feel this great force from day one, the first moment onwards. Okay. To be integrated in one another, each person should annul himself before the others. This is done by each seeing his friends' merits and not their faults. But one who thinks that he's a little higher than his friends can no longer unite with them. So this is another principle we have to have. Remember, in the principles of the workshop, what we talked about, we don't criticize any friend. The whole Congress is like a workshop. So we're not negating, we're not criticizing, we're not thinking badly of others. We're just nullifying as much as we can. We're constantly nullifying our egoism, In order for us to do that, I have to see the friends as great, and I can only see them great if the goal is important. Okay, how can I see a bunch of people great? Okay, so I've got in front of me several people here on the screen. Right? How can I see them great? I can only see them great if the goal is important to us. Because if what we're going to attain and achieve is really important, and these people are critical to my advancement, to all of our advancement, then they become very important. So I want to make sure I don't stain any kind of interaction I have with anyone. Because in a Congress, everyone will be such a big mass, this mass of energy. Imagine having a ball of energy, right? The bigger it is, the more energy you have. So you can get out of it much more. And if I see everybody who's coming there to participate as very important parts in achieving this big goal that we have, then it's really easy for me to nullify myself because our goal is important. And if it isn't important, a person cannot nullify him or herself. And therefore he or she cannot connect with other people. Because how can I connect with other people if I have criticism against them? If I have constantly complaints about them, if I've got problems with them, issues with them, if I don't like them. You may not like somebody, right? But you can still nullify that in order to like them so you can attain a higher goal. So all these actually feelings and sensations that pop up inside a person during the Congress must find way inside of us to be refined processed as inner work, so I can nullify my ego, so I can nullify myself. During the Congress, when we all come together, this is why I must see everyone as great, because the Creator is great, the goal is great. So we all want to achieve something great. And for that reason only, I am happy to love everyone, even if I don't want to love them. Imagine going to work and you're making a lot of money, let's say. And because you're making a lot of money, even though there are a few people you don't like there, you don't mind. Why? Because you're making a lot. So who cares? At the end of the day, you're going to go home, you're going to have a great weekend, you're going to spend what you make. So even though there are people around you may not like, you still go because it's worth your while. Now imagine all of us coming together and we're thinking that the Creator is worth our while. And that'll give you an opportunity to rise above all differences. And if you rise above all the differences between everyone, you actually begin to nullify yourself. That's how you nullify yourself. You cannot just pressure yourself to nullify yourself. That's not going to work out. The only way to work out is to make others more important, like our children. So naturally, our children are important. So we're okay with making sacrifices from our personal pleasures in order to grow them up. If we didn't do that, they'd never actually grow up, because we'd never look after them. So same here. Why? Because other people are important and willing to make sacrifices. That's how you nullify yourself. This is why others have to be important for my self-love to be nullified. There's no other way of getting over your self-love. Let's see, what else? What else do we have to do? Also, it is important to remain serious during the assembly, so as not to lose the intention, as it is for this aim that they have gathered. So a person really needs to focus on maintaining his or her intention. What does that mean? What is our intention? Okay, what is intention? Intention is the only thing we're trying to change in spirituality. So now, all of us are a desire to receive with an intention to receive self-pleasure. That's what we are. So what do we want to be? Well, we're always going to be a desire to receive, but we want to use our desire to receive in order to give pleasure to somebody else. So trying to do an act of bestowal correctly, like the Creator does, and trying to attain that intention should be our goal, and we should never forget that. And maintaining this intention inside of us is the seriousness the article is talking about. So inside of me and you and everybody else, all the time, from now on until the end of the Congress, and even beyond, because after the Congress we're going to have to go to a higher level. You cannot finish a Congress and remain there or slightly higher. If the group has made a big leap, you will fall. This is why after the Congress it's critical for everyone to hang on. Because if you make the effort now and you integrate yourself into the Congress with that effort, when the group elevates itself, you're with the group. If you don't give it your 100% and the group elevates itself, you're less. And after the Congress, that's why there's always a bit of a tumbling. And we don't want to crumble, after the Congress especially. This is why preparation is not just for the Congress, but it's also for afterwards, for all the things I attain at the Congress. So what do we have to do here? What does it say? We must remain serious during the assembly as not to lose the intention. So that seriousness is an inner state. Okay, so I'm not going around with a serious face all day long. The seriousness means that I'm maintaining this thought, this intention, the goal, always in my mind and my heart, and I always understand, know why I'm here. Why I'm here, why I'm studying, what I want to get. Always maintain that in the back of my mind, no matter what happens. We're in a lesson, we're having breakfast, lunch, dinner, we're having a workshop, we're having a cultural evening, we're having tea, coffee with the friends. It doesn't matter. We could be doing something completely unrelated to, to the study or the formal program of the Congress. It doesn't matter. We could be cooking food in the kitchen. We could be, I don't know what, in a book stand helping the friends. We could be talking and meeting new friends. It doesn't really matter what we're doing. As long as during the Congress, when we're all together, inside our heart, at the back of our mind, we always keep that common intention. We want one thing, to reach dvekut with the Creator. And everything we're doing here and onwards is only to reach dvekut, unity with the Creator. That's all. So we must maintain that in us all the time, but towards the friends, always with a big smile. Okay. So seriousness on the inside, and we've got to portray love and happiness on the outside. Okay. So being serious is an inner thing, and that's why it's called the intention. And to walk humbly, which is a great thing, one should be accustomed to appear as though one is not serious, but in truth a fire burns in their hearts. So that's exactly what Rabash is saying, what I mentioned. So on the one hand, on my externality, I'm always portraying to the friends confidence, the sensation that we're all going to be in spirituality, that we're going to make it. So from the outside, I'm always portraying love, kindness, support. I'm always motivating the friends. I'm always giving them a good spiritual state, let's say, okay, a good mood. We want all the friends to be there in a state of joy, because happiness is critical, okay, to getting out of ourselves. And sometimes people don't understand these principles. When you're really, really happy, you can actually get out of yourself as well. So happiness from other people can actually bring you this extra sensation of being out of yourself. This is why happiness is really amazing, because you all of a sudden feel something different. Okay? So if you're, during the day as well, if you're really happy about something, momentarily, you're like in another sensation. So among the friends, this happiness, this contact where there's always joy, because we're going for something really great, and everybody wants to come to the love of friends. We all want to connect, and we all want to do that to connect with the Creator as well. To go through this thing, we're like a dough constantly being, crunched up, constantly being worked on, ready for the oven. Okay? Because it's going to cook in the oven, and who's going to cook us? The light of the Creator. So when a group of friends comes together to study, to unite, to be together, and they're all helping each other, then we have this force around us, like this heat that's cooking the bread in the oven. It's called the light that reforms, or the surrounding light. This is a sensation people can feel at the Congress. You don't have to be in La La Land on some spiritual level to feel it. So this is an important thing you must keep in mind, that we can actually have spiritual sensations even though we're not in spirituality. We can have these little moments in the Congress. This is why it's very important for us to all prepare, because when we have these little sensations, it'll allow this thing inside of us called reshimot to wake up. It's like by going through a feeling and an understanding, I come to an aha moment. So I have this little thing that opens up. Now I'm +1. Okay, so I came to the Congress as, let's say, with the preparation, I came as 1. And then I went through something, I became +1. I went through something else, I became another +1. So it's 1 + 1 + 1 + 1. I'm going like that every moment. And this interaction between everyone can therefore enliven these spiritual sensations here and there, just here and there, here and there, here and there, little by little, little by little. And these little sensations will give us the ability to start making discernments between what spirituality is and what corporeality is, even without being in spirituality. Just like when a kid's growing, he doesn't really know what being an adult is, but as he spends time with his parents, he begins to understand what being an adult is. You know, somebody goes to work, they have to make money, and then they go to the supermarket, they get the food for me. So as a child is growing up, he begins to understand that it's not like when he was a baby, when he had no idea what his parents were doing for him. But as he grows up, now he begins to feel what his parents are doing. So that feeling and understanding can happen very quickly at a congress if we're ready for it. Okay, so inside of us, this fire must always burn, so we must be very serious in our intention. But on the outside, when we're with the friends, we're always in this happy, humble, pleasant mood between us as well. So these things need to go together. Yet to small people during the assembly, one should be weary of following words and deeds that do not yield the goal of the gathering, and thus they should achieve dvekut with the Creator. And concerning dvekut, see the essay Matan Torah. Okay, so during the Congress, when we're all together, this paragraph is telling us something very critical. When we're all together, one should be very, very weary of following words and deeds that do not yield the goal of the gathering, which is to reach dvekut with the Creator. So when we're together in the Congress, we must never, ever talk about other things that are irrelevant. Just think about it. We're coming together once a year for something really great. So we don't want to waste this time by talking about corporeal things that are unrelated to our topic. Everyone there must completely focus with all their heart and mind, all their actions, everything, on one thing. That everything I do, I say, must be related to the goal. Very important for us to all focus on that one point of reaching dvekut with the Creator. Otherwise, we're missing an opportunity. So this is why Rabash also in the previous article said one must be very serious on the inside and very, pleasant and friendly on the outside. And all our talks, all our actions, everything we do together must only be focused on this single point of reaching dvekut with the Creator. But when one is not with one's friends, it is best to show nothing of the intention in one's heart and appear to be like everyone else. This is the meaning of walk humbly with the Lord your God. While there are higher interpretations of that, the simple explanation is also a great thing. Hence it is good that there will be equality among the friends who unite, so one can be annulled before the other. And there should be careful watch in the society, this allowing frivolity, since frivolity ruins everything. But as we have said above, this should be an internal matter. Right, so during the Congress, all of us must be very focused that inside of us we don't drift. Okay, so sometimes things come to our minds, right? Like I have I have a thought about my corporeality, about work, I'm starting to think about something else that's not related to why we're there. Sometimes your mind just goes into another direction, into another area. We mustn't do that. How can I do that though? Okay, so that's very important. How could it be that I'm going to sit there and my mind is not going to drift away? It's not really in our hands, is it? Sometimes thoughts come to a person, all kinds of thoughts come to a person. How can one be in control of one's thoughts? Well, one cannot be in control of one's thoughts on his own. So, if we all come together and do exactly what Rabash just said, when we're just talking and focusing on the goal, everybody's focused on it, we're talking about it, we're in the lessons about it, everybody's got the intention, everybody's trying hard, right? We're all trying, like little kids trying to hold on to something. So we're all trying to keep our intention, we're all focused on talking, doing, studying. Everything we do is just towards unity with the friends in order to reach unity with the Creator. I'm constantly in that, then my thoughts will not drift away. If I don't do that, they will. Because you're not responsible for your thoughts, you're responsible for the environment you put yourself into. The environment can influence my thoughts. So what we're doing now is preparing ourselves actually on how to integrate to the group all the time, not just during the Congress. This article is not just for the Congress, it's for the lessons, it's for the gathering of friends, it's for meals, everything that we do together, including congresses as well. So we're going over it, especially for the Congress, but just note that this is actually for every moment of our lives. Whenever I'm with the friends, all the time, my externality and internality must be directed. I have to make an effort, in other words. I have to try to do my best. If we all try to do our best, that's called an effort. Then the light will work on us, because the effort is what's drawing the light. If I could already do it, I wouldn't need the light. Okay? So we need to understand that we're not going to be able to do it, but we need to try to do it, so that as we try, the Creator will help us to do it. And that's how you connect with the Creator. Otherwise, I've got no reason to call Him. So all of us need to do these acts internally and externally, so that we can integrate ourselves into the group during the Congress, or during the lesson, or during the meals, during everything we do, so that my mind and my heart will be together, focused on that purpose of life called reaching adhesion, dvekut, with the Creator. And this is the essence of the article. So we mustn't bring any external things, any external topics not related to the goal. Nothing about my hobbies, nothing about my work, nothing about corporeality. Because this Congress, the few days that we have there, must just be focused on the goal. And if we miss out, then we're missing out a lot. So preparation for the Congress is very important in order for me to be in this mode, in this, in this state of mind, like an athlete, right? You see how they prepare? They don't just prepare physically, they prepare psychologically as well. So I have to be in the state of mind that I'm going in there to connect with the friends, to give the friends everything that I can possibly give to make them, have a pleasant feeling, to give them confidence, to give them arvut, right? The confidence they need that they're going to achieve everything we need to in order to get to the goal. So emotionally, intellectually, with all my heart and soul, mind, whatever, with my completeness, I have to be directed towards that point, and everything acting in me, both internally and externally, should be focused on the goal. All right. Now, in our next week articles, we're going to carry on with a few things from Rabash. We're going to talk about the love of friends and also how we can help each other stay focused, how we can help each other stay in this mode that he's talking about in this article called The Purpose of Society. Hopefully we'll be stronger and stronger in this, simply because, like I said, this is not just for a Congress. This state of mind, this state of sensation should accompany us throughout all our days, whether we're at a Congress, whether we're at work, whether I'm on a holiday, whether I'm with the family, whether I'm with people who are completely not related to spirituality, at work or here and there, it doesn't matter. But a student of the wisdom of Kabbalah should be always walking with the Creator, like I'm walking always with the Creator by my side, and I'm going through life with whatever life brings me, yeah? Anything. Life can bring anything to a person, but no matter what happens, I'm in this flow, in an inner intention, and the externality that matches that inner intention. Only then can I keep flowing in that direction. So, and every time I fall, I will fall. Okay? I will fall, like kids fall all the time until they start walking. What I have to do is I have to use the environment to get back on track. So this is why we have lessons every day. Okay? Because I'm using the environment immediately when I fall during the day and my mind goes to corporeal reality. I start looking at all these desires which I could run after. Okay? Immediately the group can hold me tight if I stick my head in the group. This is why daily lessons, always being in connection with the friends, is the only way I can keep pushing my heart to the right intention. It's the only way. Because the outside environment will always gobble you up. They just swallow you, they'll chew you, digest you, and then they'll shit you out. Okay? So spirituality is, if you stick to the friends all the time, that's how your heart and mind is always going to be focused in that direction. Then you can always flow with them together towards the goal. Otherwise, there's no hope for anyone. You can also witness this in your lives as well. The minute you go into an environment with other people, you begin to blend with their thoughts, their desires, their conversations. That's how it is. It's laws of nature. So a student of Kabbalah must always have this connection. As we're living in a physical world, physically as well, I need to have this connection with the friends all the time, so that I can actually keep my heart and mind focused on the goal during the day as well, and not fall from my intention, and always maintain my internality's seriousness. So this is going to be our work. It's going to be our work until the end of our correction, actually, okay? Until a person reaches spirituality, this is the work he needs to do all the time. Now, the article here is in the beginning of the book, so seemingly, it's for someone new. Okay, so we should be over this article, we read it, we understand it, and we should be moving on. But not quite so, because this article is actually talking about the state that we should always be remembering. So it's very relevant to a person in every phase, in every day, every moment that is advancing in spirituality with his friends. So it's worthwhile to read this article in your free time, to prepare yourself to clarify how your internality and externality should be during the Congress. All right, so it appears, do we have any questions? Let's see, is there a question? We have just one question from Kointa Tapia. If I will be participating virtually, what is the best advice you could give, as we're not actually physically there? How to go past the barrier of separation? That's a really nice question. So we have a lot of friends actually around the world who will be participating virtually. So the best thing to do is to close yourself off. So if you're going to join us, if you're not going to work, okay, if you took some time off from work, okay, so I don't know how your corporeal reality is arranged, how your life is arranged, but what we used to do what we do when we can't go to a congress because we're joining virtually. Okay, sometimes let's say there's a congress in America or in South America. Okay, so I'm not flying out there because I can't due to work or financial reasons or whatever reasons. I'm just not being able to go there. So what we do is on that weekend, we close ourselves up. Okay, so we don't go shopping for food, we buy it before and we put it in the house, okay, or at the center, wherever you are with the friends. If you're with the friends, you guys should all be prepared with your food, with how you're going to spend the day, where you're going to sleep. You should all know what the plan of the Congress is, what time the lessons are, what time the meals are, what time the gathering of friends are, and you should do exactly what we're doing with your friends in your time zone. If you're going to be on your own, then you should follow us virtually on your own, but you should connect to someone, either with the software like Zoom, and you should be like even if you're alone somewhere virtually, you should connect with another group with Zoom if you possibly can. It would really help you out. Okay, if you're coming together as a group, physically as a group somewhere in some center, then there you should all be prepared. You should all know what is happening and when it's happening. So when we start preparation for the lesson or when we're starting the gathering of friends, you guys should be right there with us. Okay, at the same time with us. So make sure you know what the schedule of the Congress is for every day. If you're going to be at a center, make sure you got your food, your water, your tea, your coffee, everything is organized. Okay. If you're going to go to, I don't know, some other place to sleep and come to the center in the morning to start the Congress, then make sure you're all organized getting there to the center, so somebody doesn't miss a bus or somebody doesn't miss a ride. Okay, so you should all be really connected and everyone should be aware of everybody who's coming, how they're coming, so that nobody has a problem, so all the friends can come and be there together. And you should follow us exactly how we're going. So don't try to. It depends also where you are. Okay, if depends. Let's see. Depends also where you are. If you're in Africa, right? So your time zone and our time zone are very close. Maximum you're 3 hours off. If you're at the West Coast, or 2 hours or 3 hours. So just make sure you get your time differences, your time zones all matched up to what we're doing, and do exactly what we're doing exactly at the time we're doing if you can. If you have work and you can't take a break because the Congress is going to be, the big Congress is going to be during the week and you can't take a break, then what you can do is, just try to attend the live part as much as you can, and the stuff you missed out on, try to listen to it during the day somehow. Just download the lessons if you can, and try to listen, so you're actually in the same, frame of mind with us. So you're kind of walking with us with the same lessons and the events as well. Okay. Because at the end of the day, you can overcome these barriers of separation if your heart and mind are with the group. Like, this is why I said this is an article for us which we should be using every day, because I don't see the friends 24/7. I only see them during the lesson or sometimes when we're doing a Zoom meeting, and that's it. The rest of the day I'm at work, I've got people around me, this and that. But to be with them both heart and mind all the time, I've got to be integrated to them. So don't worry about how distant we are. Worry about how I can connect to what we're doing, so I can get from that environment the thoughts and the desires that a spiritual environment is supposed to give me. Okay, so that's a nice question. Morris is asking, I've been following your lessons, Kabbalah Fundamentals, on YouTube. I'm currently at graduate environment with a virtual 10, with friends based in Europe and classes from USA. I use your lessons to complement my study as I miss classes due to time differences. would like to know, one, any physical group in Nairobi, Kenya? That's a good question. I don't think we've got a physical group in Kenya. I know there were some friends from Kenya when we had a virtual Congress, virtual African Congress, which was last month. So there will be someone, there should be someone there. The best way to find out is if you're already in the graduate environment, you should also be taking lessons from me on Sundays. If you're going to join the graduate environment on Sundays, I'm going to be teaching on Sundays to the graduate environment for Asia, Africa, and Europe. Okay, so write to the graduate environment and ask if there are people around you. That's a good question. I don't specifically know where everybody is. So send us an email. Okay, send us an email to the graduate environment, and also send us an email here as well. Write to, what was it, africa@kabbalahacademy.com. Okay, so write to this address, will help you out as well. Africa, okay, Africa at Kabbalah.academy. Okay, did I get that right? Okay, great. So that's the email address. Send us an email. Okay, send us an email. The guys will send it to me. Okay, they'll send me your details, and then we'll see if there's anybody there at the moment. Okay. 2. When your next virtual congress or convention, that's going to be in February, and you can actually check that out on the CABU site. You can also get the congress's details on kabbalah.info. All right, so get in there, check out the website. There is a website for the congress. There should also be information on the CABU site as well. So if you're on the graduate environment, you should have some moderators there on the forum who help you out. Ask them as well. Okay, so there'll be, because on the website, okay, on the Congress website, when you enter the Congress website from this main website, there's a program, there's all the days, hours, and everything. So you're in Kenya, you're probably about 1 hour off. You might even be in the same time zone as we are. Okay, so check it out from the website, because sometimes things change. The dates are fixed, okay, but sometimes the hours of the program might change, so it's good to follow it up. And kindly add me to your mailing list for events in Africa. Will do. Will do. Write to us, and the guys will send me your details, and we'll do that. Anthony, also go to our website, our Facebook page, okay? If you don't know our Facebook page, go to our Facebook page. I'll show you that right now, and join the followers list, because sometimes we do information, we give out information there. So it's B'nai Baruch Africa. Okay, maybe the guys can give you the link. I'll send the link to them here. And do you guys have the link? No? Okay. Let me just... If I send it here on Zoom, can you post it on YouTube? Yeah? Okay. So here's the link. There you go. And maybe you can post it to all the lessons on YouTube, so people have a Facebook place to go, where the email is, what the email address is, the Facebook page, and everything. So people who are watching on YouTube can actually go to the Facebook page. So you can always write to us on the Facebook page as well, because we get the messages and we'll help you out as well. So B'nai Baruch Africa has a English Africa web page, a Facebook page, and you can write to us there. Nitin is asking, dear group, I'm Nitin Jadhav from India, learning Kabbalah since last few months from CabU and also watching lessons on YouTube. Just want to know, is there any authentic Kabbalah books published in Hindi language? If yes, please let me know. Nitin, I don't think there is one at the moment, but we have a really nice friend called Shamir. Maybe you heard of Shamir. He's been with us for a few years. He's from India actually, and so he's probably working on that. At the moment, I don't think there is one, but you know what? I will ask him. You know, you can also send us an email. Okay, asia@kabbalah.academy. That's right, yeah? Okay, so these two email addresses, one's for Asia, one's for Africa. So send us an email as well. I'll forward it to Shamir, okay? And Shamir can give you an answer because he's from India and he can help you out and give you information. Carl is asking, hello, thanks again for everything. Can you give an example of a topic for a workshop? Where do the topics come from? Well, the topics should all be coming from the work actually. Okay, so for example, an example for a topic workshop is, how should we integrate with all the other friends at the Congress? For example, that's a topic. Okay, that's a question for a workshop. So now when we're together with a group of people, if we're going to go to the Congress, right? Let's say we've got friends from Turkey, right? They're all preparing. How many are coming? About 50 people. Okay, so we've got about 50 people coming from Turkey, right? So half of them are men, half of them are women. So the guys and the girls, what are they going to do? They're going to do a workshop among themselves. They should be doing a workshop among themselves. Okay, they should, to prepare themselves for the Congress. How should we prepare? What should our state of mind be? What should we, as a 10 and as the Turkish group, you know, bring there to push the whole world cleave forward? That's a question. Okay, did you guys get the message I'm giving? Yes, you guys got the message. That's good. See, there you go. Because they're helping me out with the academy here. So the Turkish group is actually looking after the broadcast as well. All right, so all the friends should prepare, should direct themselves internally and externally towards the Congress. So that's like a topic, that's an important topic for a workshop. And they should always be directed towards the goal. So no matter what we're doing, all our workshops should be directed from the state of the group. Okay, so what the group is really going through. Because sometimes a group will have different states. So we all need to focus on the states that we're going through, and from those states, how now we can move forward towards the goal. That should always be the topic of the workshop. Okay, good. So we've got many questions today. Angela Zwingli, she's asking, how can we get the schedule and lesson plan ahead of time? Like I said, from the website. From the website, you can definitely do it. In fact, you know what? Let's do this together. All right. Let's do this together. www. You know, I'm going to find this for you guys, and we're going to put it on YouTube so you can all log into it. Let's see where we're at. Okay. So I've gone onto the website, and let's see where the Congress is. Hopefully we'll find it here somewhere. That's the Kabbalah course, perception of reality, structure of the course structures. Let's see what we can do. Maybe it's on the other one too. Okay. If you can't find it on the website, send us an email so we can send it to you. Okay, let's do this. Here we go. Okay, so we've got how many? We've got 22 days. Okay, so let's go to the convention webpage. Okay. Let's see where that link is. Oops. Okay, well that's in Hebrew. Oh, where can we go? cab.co.il convention. Let's get rid of this. I promise we're going to find it. And we will not finish the lesson until we find this link. Okay. Oh, here we go. I've got it. I've got it. I have got it. Okay. So I found the English. I am just going to pass it on to the friends. And they will pass it on to you on YouTube. And I will also put it on the Facebook page as well. Where is our Zoom participation? Okay, so if you guys can also put this link. It's cab. Okay, here, let me just write this as well. Shmuel, if you can put me on the text. Here, let's do it. So it's cab.co.il /convention /en for English. Okay, there are other language settings there as well, like Russian, Spanish, Hebrew. Okay, and there's also an email address there, and you can see the Desert Convention, the World Convention. Okay, you can click on them, and then you can see the program. So it's from the 25th to the 27th of February. That's the big convention. And you got the guys' Desert Convention on the 21st and 22nd. And that's it. So it's all there. Click on the links on cab.co.il /convention en. Okay, there you go. Maybe also add that to the YouTube description for this lesson. Okay, guys. All right, good. I'm glad we've got some lessons, and it's nice to see that people are also watching these lessons afterwards or live. Angela is also saying, I've been watching your lessons, plus I'm going into Kabbalah experience through CAB-U next week. Great, great, Angela. Well done. So for those of you who are in the CAB-U environment, I'll be teaching you guys on Sundays. So on Sundays we'll be together for the graduate guys. And if you've just entered, that's great. The guys will be there. There are a lot of friends there who take care of people as well. That you can ask them any question you like. And I'm also responsible for the Africa, Asia and Turkish groups here in Bnei Baruch as a coordinator. So if you guys study with us, we'll be seeing a lot of each other, okay, hopefully. All right. So in the meantime, though, are there any more questions? No, that's it? Okay. In the meantime, though, we're going to end our lesson. We're going to be again together with you guys, hopefully on Tuesday next week. If you can't join live, you can always send your questions by email to these email addresses. Okay, let's show this again. Shmuel, can you sign us up on the screen? There we go. All right, so if you have any questions as well, you can always send them to the email addresses and we can answer them during the lesson as well. So we're going to carry on with preparation for the Congress until we get to the Congress. So for the next 2 weeks, we're still going to be preparing until the Congress starts. Let's see how many we have. 2 more weeks left. Okay, 2 more weeks, and then we're in the Congress already. Okay, so see you guys next week. All the best. Have a good day or a good evening. Bye bye now.